Okay, very interesting. When you pitched to me joining Infineo, you said, Bob, we're taking whole life insurance, the infinite banking approach of using whole life insurance policies for cash management purposes, with infinite banking being the term Nelson Nash developed, and marrying it with blockchain technology. So I know I've heard you tell the story. You were looking for what's the killer blockchain app, and then you realized it was life insurance. So you want to tell us a little bit about that discovery?
Yeah, it was selling my cheese business, having an exit, having capital cash in a bank, my financial advisor saying, put it in life insurance. I went, what? I laughed so hard. He goes, Cole, you're a smart guy, go do the work. I did the work and I realized, wow, okay, you're right. I do need to put it there. And then I felt that was part of the discovery that I had also about value and about promoting the most valuable thing. I realized that infinite banking, as Nelson Nash put it, was the most valuable financial strategy in the world. I was convinced of it. And I still am today. I still think there's no smarter thing you can do financially. I'll just put it, I always want to leave the word financially out. I just kind of want to say there's no smarter thing you can do, period. But I'm going to just say financially, just to kind of be a little more appropriate with it, than putting your money in properly designed life insurance that's designed for this type of strategy. And I'm like, why are more people not doing it? What's the government going to do when they catch on to this loop? There's no loophole. And, what is my responsibility to sharing this message? So I just gone on a mission. And then I realized, how do you scale this globally? That was the big question. I said, well, what technologies are out there? And I discovered blockchain technology. There's a whole story as how I got into blockchain and got into AI, but mostly blockchain. This was many, many years ago, trying to find use cases for it. And what I was doing with my life insurance, my capital, my life insurance policies, I was going and I was taking policy loans. And I was leveraging life insurance policies to go and invest into other assets. Then I was also into DeFi and crypto at the time, and I was like staking Bitcoin and stable coins and tokens and coins. And I was kind of thinking to myself, like the mechanism of what I'm doing is staking is almost the exact mechanism of how I'm leveraging life insurance. And then I started to kind of piece blockchain and life insurance together. And there was this real natural, non-fungible kind of hand-in-glove relationship between the two. And I realized that they mutually need each other. And I don't know if life insurance is the best use case for blockchain, or is blockchain the best use case for life insurance? I would argue that life insurance is a better use case for blockchain than Bitcoin is. Right? And I will die on that idea. And I will go forward and prove it out, that it is. And that's what we're doing today. But my favorite story of this entire journey is how I tried to recruit you. That was my favorite journey of all this whole story, really. Was because I realized that when I was standing this up and I was serious and I had a responsibility, I needed to go out and get like the best. I needed to get the guy, right? I needed to go and get Dr. Murphy. I needed somehow to get Dr. Murphy who was my mentor, who, I read all of your books. You guided me through this infinite banking. When I was doing the work on, is this infinite banking thing a real thing? I was reading all of your books, reading all of your white papers. I mean, you were the central. So then I thought, now I have a responsibility to tell this story and distribute bridging life insurance as we know it to blockchain. I can't move forward, without you. And it was, I think, me plagiarizing one of your books and sending it to you in the version of my attempt at a white paper that probably made you laugh and feel pity on me and say, okay, I'll come and help you out.
I realize you're being self-deprecating. It was more like, I was intrigued. And then some point we'll have to talk more about it, maybe not with cameras rolling. There were a lot of things going on in my life that had to all just happen coincidentally for this all to happen. And so again, it leads you to think, it seems like maybe there's something going on here besides just random chaos, and unplanned events. And so a lot of this stuff, all even half joking aside, is coming together. We don't have time right now. I know you got to leave here in a second, but like with the artificial intelligence and everything, stuff is happening as we recently hired Christian Hubbs of, folks we was on an earlier episode of this podcast, PhD in machine learning from Carnegie Mellon, just top level guy in the AI field. We have him at, and some of the things that these large language models are doing, it's like, they shouldn't be performing this well. And to me, it's like, there's information embedded even like in the syntax of the spoken language more than humans realized. And so again, just you're seeing design built in, like whether you take a cell and zoom way in on it, if you take fractals like the Mandelbrot set, it's just, hey, it's just some numbers. No, but if you zoom in on it, it looks like there's a whole universe that, I mean, all this stuff you see evidence, I would say, of a intelligent creator all over the place. And so it's interesting. And all coming full circle too, you were talking about, the health benefits and whatever that recently, these exercises we were doing with doing various insurance policies, just seeing the numbers of how much, if you're a smoker, how much more you have to pay for death benefit coverage. And you know what I mean? And so it's like we're quantifying, just showing people like, yeah, this is, if you could, change your lifestyle, and look here, look, it's money in your pocket. It's really, so like as you say often, like the human life is the most valuable asset. Like there's these machines that just throw off productive capacity, and a life insurance policy is what we've come up with at the market kind of quantifies that and values the human life, and to give it some sort of exchange value and make it the present discounted value. So it's a lot of different strands all coming together here, what we're doing in Infineo every day. So
Yeah.
I'll give you want to take a minute and give some closing remarks to the viewers?
Yeah, sure. And I think we would, if I could, I'll just build off of what you just said, which is the thing that I love to say the most, which is just the value of a human life. And it's even, just thinking about like talking to you today and kind of like you asking me to go back to my kind of origin story about health and about well-being and about, getting to, where Infineo is today. I mean, really, essentially what we've done is we've given every human being that has a human body and somewhat of a coherent mind the ability to really leverage, liquidate, and valuate that asset of a human life. And it's God-given. I mean, it's your right to leverage it in a sustainable way to become as wealthy as you can be and to enjoy the fruits of that wealth. And it's just right there. And it sounds really odd, but it's very, very true. The measurement of how to leverage, liquidate, or evaluate your life is through life insurance. And we talk a lot about what does that look like generationally. It's the solution to a lot of problems. I mean, you wrote a white paper recently that I asked you to write. I begged and pleaded for years, that you wrote a white paper, on the idea of, so what would it look like if every child in America was life insured, and how many generations would it take for consumer debt or the world to kind of change economically, right? Well, it's the solution for universal basic income. It's the argument against it's universal basic income on steroids without government intervention. It's like, I'm just coming up with this right now, by the way, but it's like the Austrian kind of libertarian universal basic income. It's the antidote. It's the anti-UBI, right? It's how we take control back almost, is by insuring our kids and doing it generationally. And so we have our own wealth by leveraging, liquidating, and valuating the most important thing in the world, which is a human being.
Yeah, building up like that heritage, passed down through your family so that, you don't have to turn to the government and the state to take care of you.
Hey, everybody, this is Bob Murphy. Thanks for listening to this clip from the InFi podcast. If you like what you heard and want to hear more, please consider subscribing and share this video with others. We've got new episodes dropping every Friday with more insightful discussions. Stay tuned.